For over 1 million years, humans ate their meat raw, slept in total darkness, and had no way to fight back against the cold. And somehow, we survived anyway. No fire, no light, no warmth. Just teeth, tools, and sheer stubbornness. We treat fire like it was the starting point of civilization, the moment everything clicked into place. But here's the part nobody talks about. Humans existed for well over 1 million years before we figured out how to reliably control it. That's an enormous stretch of time where our ancestors were exposed to freezing nights, dangerous predators, and completely raw food, with none of the tools we now consider basic to survival. So today, we're looking at what ancient humans actually did before fire existed, how they stayed warm, how they ate, how they defended themselves, and how they survived long enough for fire to eventually change everything. Before fire, the very first defense against the cold wasn't a tool, it was hair. Early hominins were covered in a thick coat of body hair, similar to other primates, which provided at least some natural insulation against dropping temperatures. But as humans evolved and started losing that body hair, likely to help regulate heat while running long distances during the day, they lost their built-in defense against the cold nights. This left early humans with a serious problem: hairless, no fire, and living through nights that could drop dangerously low, especially in higher altitudes or colder regions. Their solution was simple but effective: proximity. Sleeping in tight groups, often huddled together in caves, rock shelters, or dense vegetation, using shared body heat to survive the night. Some anthropologists believe this is one of the reasons early humans became so intensely social. When your survival literally depends on physical closeness to other people, cooperation stops being optional. Long before fire gave us warmth, other humans were the only heat source we had. But staying warm was only half the problem, because without fire, eating was a completely different and honestly kind of brutal experience. Every single thing early humans ate had to be eaten raw. No cooking meat to kill bacteria, no softening tough plants, no breaking down fibrous roots into something digestible. Just raw meat, raw plants, and whatever your teeth and stomach could handle. This actually shaped human anatomy in a massive way. Researchers believe early hominins had significantly larger jaws, bigger teeth, and much more powerful digestive systems than modern humans, simply because raw food takes far more energy and effort to break down and digest. Raw meat also carried serious risk. Without cooking to kill off bacteria and parasites, every meal came with a real chance of getting sick. Some researchers believe this is a major reason early human brains stayed relatively small for so long, because so much of the body's energy had to go toward digestion instead of brain development. It wasn't until fire entered the picture that cooking became possible, and cooking is now considered one of the most important turning points in human evolution, freeing up energy that eventually helped our brains grow dramatically larger. Comment below what you think would have been harder to give up without fire: warmth or cooked food. Now, without fire, humans also had almost no protection at night from the thing that actually killed most of them: predators. Big cats, hyenas, wolves. For most of human history, we were not the apex predator. We were something closer to prey that occasionally fought back. Fire eventually became one of our greatest defenses, since almost every predator on Earth instinctively avoids flame. But before that, humans had to rely entirely on other strategies to avoid becoming dinner. Caves and rock shelters became critical, offering a defensible position with limited entry points that a group could actually protect. Sleeping in trees, similar to some other primates, may have been a strategy in certain environments. And group vigilance, taking turns staying alert through the night, was likely essential, since a lone human in the dark stood almost no chance against a large predator. Archaeological evidence, including bite marks found on some early human remains, confirms that predation was a real and constant threat. Every single night without fire was a genuine gamble on survival. This is likely one of the reasons early humans developed such strong social bonds and cooperative behavior so early on. Without fire to keep predators away, the only real defense was numbers. So when did fire actually enter the picture? The answer might surprise you, because for a long time we weren't in control of it at all. The earliest evidence of humans using fire dates back at least 1 million years, possibly further. But for a huge stretch of that time, humans weren't creating fire, they were scavenging it. Lightning strikes, wildfires, volcanic activity, these were the original sources, and early humans would carefully capture and maintain naturally occurring flames, keeping embers alive and tending them like a fragile, valuable resource. This is actually a critical detail. Long before anyone figured out how to strike a spark or generate friction fire, early humans had already learned the value of fire and had developed the skill of keeping an existing flame burning for long periods, sometimes moving it between locations. It likely took hundreds of thousands of years before humans figured out how to actually create fire on demand, using methods like friction with wood or striking flint against stone to generate sparks. Once that skill was mastered, everything changed. Warmth became reliable, cooking became possible, predators could be kept at a distance, nights stopped being a constant, unshakable threat. But it's easy to forget just how long that gap actually was. For the vast majority of early human history, our ancestors survived entirely without the one tool we now consider absolutely essential. So across every one of these, freezing nights survived through huddled body heat instead of flame, raw food that reshaped human anatomy just to digest it, predators avoided through caves and constant group vigilance, and fire itself, first scavenged from nature long before anyone learned to create it. One thing stays consistent. Humans didn't survive because we had the right tools from the start. We survived because we adapted, cooperated, and endured through conditions that would be unthinkable today for far longer than most people realize. Fire didn't make us human. It just made being human significantly easier. If you want more videos digging into how ancient humans actually survived, not the sanitized textbook version, the real one, go ahead and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep making these. And let me know in the comments, could you have survived a single night out there without fire? I'll see you in the next one.